Getting through the housing crisis can be pretty overwhelming, from decisions about whether to sell or refinance. It can be pretty tricky if you haven't done your research. But here to help make it easier is Sherry Chris. She's the president and CEO of Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Welcome to the show, Sherry.
Well,
good to see you.
Thank you, Audra.
We just talked about that. You've got to do your research, whether it's buying a home or refinancing. It can be really overwhelming for a lot of people.
Well, it can be overwhelming now, particularly in this market, because there are so many properties on the market.
Yeah.
And there are so many different categories of properties on the market. Some of them are repossessed properties, foreclosures, and just plain people wanting to sell their home.
Right. Well, you want to help a lot of people out as far as understanding what to do and what not to do when it comes to refinancing. Let's look at your tips here. The first thing is, do not assume that all sellers are distressed and that there's no options.
Well, that's a good point. And that is one of my tips, because not all of the properties on the market are in a distressed situation.
Okay.
Yes, there are some, but there are people out there that need to move. They're being relocated. They've already bought another home. So not all of the properties on the market are distressed. Right. And that's a good tip for a buyer to know.
Different situations for everyone,
exactly.
Right? Okay, number two, you say take on more loans and or debt. Right?
Don't take on, do not. And in this economy, do not take on more debt. And in fact, if you feel as though you have too much debt, one of the first things you should do is call your mortgage company, and they want to hear from you, and they'll help you restructure your debt.
Okay, and the other thing you say is do not go back to renting?
Do not go back to renting unless you absolutely have to.
Oh.
This will change, and if you think about economic cycles here in the U.S., we go through cycles, and buying real estate is a long-term investment.
Right.
The prices will go back up.
Okay, and the next tip that you have here is don't assume that you're locked into your mortgage. A lot of people do this, right?
A lot of people do this, and in fact, it's been quoted that 8 out of 10 people that are going into foreclosure with their properties have never even contacted their mortgage company.
They don't even ask. They don't even know to ask.
They're
right?
afraid to ask.
Yeah.
And the word that we need to get out as realtors is don't be afraid. Pick up the phone right away and call them. They'll work with you.
Which goes into our next topic here. You say don't panic. The housing markets are cyclical, right?
The housing market is cyclical. And so advice that I give to people every day is don't look at what your home may be worth today. Right. Just don't. If you're not selling, don't even go there.
Bother looking
don't
at
even go there. And it will pass, and
okay.
Enjoy the home that you're living in.
Okay, the next tip you have here is don't sell if you don't need to. Don't put your home on the market just to test the market. A lot of people did this and are still trying to do it now,
A lot of
right?
people are doing that, and there are too many properties on the market right now as is, and you'll get lost in the millions of homes that are trying to be sold out there. So don't do that just for the fun of it.
Right, you might not get a good reading at this point in time
exactly.
either. The last tip you have, don't spend more on the house to get ready to sell it. Just use what you have.
Use what you have, and if we back up a few years, one of the very popular things that were being done when somebody was selling a home was staging it. People were spending thousands of dollars doing that, staging their home for sale. You don't need to do that now. In fact, if you go on bhg.com, there are lots of decorating tips on there that are inexpensive, and don't spend a lot of money, but get your home ready and have it show better than the competition.
Lots of good options in different areas too. Good to have you here, Sherry. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks,
I appreciate
Audra.
it. And if you guys want to get more in-depth information on the housing do's and the don'ts, log on to better.tv and we'll have a link.